Let's start with the one that's most interesting to you.
Anyway, let's start with the one at the top, the fuel subsidy.
Okay.
Because as I was coming in this morning, I still saw some fuel queues around, and I was wondering. In fact, I was speechless. I said, why? What is actually happening? Fuel subsidy. And the government is there. We have a substantive minister. We have a minister for states, for petroleum. Because maybe I might want to ask, who is in charge of ensuring that this petroleum product gets to the ordinary Nigerian? Who is in charge? Is he NNPC? Is he the Minister for State? Is he the substantive minister? Or is it the petroleum marketers? Who is in charge? Because we cannot continue to talk about subsidy, subsidy, subsidy. I will even shock you. We've been hearing subsidy, in fact, since I was a child. Yes, subsidy, subsidy, subsidy. And it has become an household word. Even a 4-year-old child will understand what is subsidy. That they assist people to buy fuel. That is subsidy. The Office of the Accountant General is giving us analysis of what they have paid from 2017 to 2022, as at June,
yes.
Just a few days back. And they are giving us how much they paid every year, every month, and all that. They are even happy to report that to Nigerians.
You never can tell if they are happy or not. They just had to give the report.
Okay, they are giving the report. Okay, so what is the average driver on the streets who needs this fuel to run his business? How does that impact on him? If he goes to just Bejaye looking for fuel and he will spend it the whole day there, he has wife and family, children to feed at home. What happens if I want to do something, I want to work from home remotely, there is no light, I can't get fuel to buy? How? These are some of the implications. And I know in saner climes where people are responsible for certain things, and if you are not doing it, there should be consequences.
Let's get your point here. Is it that you're against subsidy, or are you saying that the fuel queues are as a result of the subsidy? What exactly are you trying to say?
The issue now is not whether I am against subsidy or I am with subsidy.
Okay.
What Nigerians are interested in is let this product be available. I don't want to go too much details. Some people will tell you, what is the current pump price for PMS? About 165 or 168. Officially. You go to some places, they are paying up to 200, 300. So what are we talking? My problem is the refineries. What has happened? Because as a layman, I can't plant cassava. And at the end of the day, I will tell my children to go and buy gari outside. My grandmother would never do that. My grandmother in the village.
Now, we're looking at a multi-layered issue here.
Yes.
And you started by picking it, one after the other.
Yes. I can't produce cassava. And I will tell my children, go and buy gari outside. Or I have a lot of beans. And I'll say, please, this bean cake, I can go and buy outside. It doesn't make sense. So, to focus and solve this issue of subsidy is let our refineries be fixed.
But the federal government was about doing that, and then they changed their mind, saying that it was going to have an effect on vulnerable Nigerians, which means that by the time you remove the subsidy, the price of fuel will be allowed to be controlled by the marketers, and it will definitely go up. And it has a ripple effect, saying that the economy rests or lies on fuel.
On fuel, I agree with you. Yes.
So are you not putting that into consideration?
The masses were already suffering. How long?
And you want to add more to it?
Good. We are not saying we are going to add more to them or government should just completely remove subsidy. If you fix your refinery very well, I believe, of course, let market forces determine the price. But fix your refinery or even license private people. We have been waiting for Dangote refinery. But I'll tell you, before Dangote refinery, there were other private refineries, small, maybe they call them modular. Why not encourage that so that we have these refineries, in different places in the country so they can meet the needs of the demand?
But then what about the refineries we have? We've been hearing about turnaround maintenance, and a lot of money has been, pushed into that direction. But then There seem to be no results. What's happening?
Yes, you have just said it. Seems to be no result. If you are in charge, in fact, I would say all the managing directors of the refineries, we have Warri Refinery, we have Port Harcourt, LMA, maybe the one in Kaduna, they should all be fired. It's as simple as that. I keep asking, is it that we don't have the technology of refining these products? And as a chemistry student, I will tell you, refining is basic elementary chemistry, distillation. You just boil and all the component comes out. Is it that we don't have the equipment or the capacity, the expertise to refine? The crude is there. God has given us the crude. So it's just to pipe it to this and let it be refined. Is it that it is not possible to be done in Nigeria, or what is the issue? So that's what I'm saying. The issue of subsidy shouldn't even be our problem. They say we're the only OPEC nation that is still importing refined product. And we have technology universities who are churning out graduates of petroleum engineers.
What is the issue here? Is it that our leaders, they don't know what to do? Because I know that a lot of, we've talked about this, several times. And then I know that analysts and business analysts and all of that, they've profiled solutions. And even in some, maybe some seminars or some summits where we have all the stakeholders, including government, I mean, these thoughts have been shared. So what stops us from implementing these things?
Well, I will come back and say maybe political will again.
So if political will is in there, what should the people do to get, I mean, so we can get
results? The
results?
role of the people now is to continue to speak. Continue to speak. We are tired of this fuel subsidy. Yes, if you want to remove it completely. What we are saying, we want product to be available.
It should be removed even before the refineries are
it should be a concerted approach. Multifaceted. You handle that issue from different angles. As you are trying to fix the refineries, remove the subsidy. And I'm telling you, Nigerians will not die, we will survive it. Because this is instant suffering on a daily basis. Before you know what, fuel has come. The next thing again is, so who is playing with us? It's just like a very difficult surgery. Face it once and know that you have attended to it. It is better that way. But again, like you have said, the refineries, we have people that are responsible. So if I'm a worker in that refinery on the monthly, I collect my salary, and yet we can't refine. Maybe there are statistics available that be refining, but maybe not enough. I don't have those figures. Does it mean that they cannot refine just few liters? Then they are no longer a refinery now. If you cannot refine your product, your crude, is no longer a refinery. They should not be telling us about turnaround maintenance. I'm hearing that word as far back as more than 20 years ago. So, the way forward, please, experts continue to profile solution, and private individuals, yes, investors, approach the government, get the license, and begin to see how we can build private refinery. It is obviously government has no business being in business.
All right, let's move on to the second story now. The second story is about Nlng and other stakeholders planning to boost supply. Let's have your thoughts on that.
Yes, again, you see how all the problems are linked together. We are talking of liquefied natural gas, making use of our gas to supply us domestic, using in domestic at homes, of course, industrial gases that can use in the industry. And when this gas is also a byproduct of, yes, if my chemistry will help me here, it's also a byproduct of this crude oil too.
All right, yes. I think we'll take a break now. Okay. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. Thank you, Charles Fakroha. Well, we'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll continue the conversation. We are reviewing the top 4 trending business stories. Stay with us. Glad to know you're still with us and still on the top 4 trending stories. The Central Bank of Nigeria has amended a framework for quick response code, that is QR code payment, to provide additional presentation options for users. The move seeks to further promote the deployment of innovative products in the Nigerian payment systems. In the prior guidelines, the central bank said the implementation of QR code for payments in Nigeria will be based on the merchant-presented mode, where merchants present the QR code for buyers to accept in order to conclude payment transaction specification. In case you missed it, the consumer-presented mode requires the user to display the QR code dynamically, while the merchant then uses a QR code reader to scan the code. Transacting payments via QR codes is deemed secure, as the QR code is merely used to exchange information, ensuring that any data which is transferred via the technology is encrypted, thus making the payments foolproof and secure. The federal government has announced the approved strategy work plan to speed up the concession process for the 700 megawatt Sungeru hydroelectric power plant in Niger State. It announced this in a statement issued in Abuja by the Head Public Communications Bureau of Public Enterprises, IBrandTV, and stating that the approval was given by the National Council on Privatization. The council noted that the key objectives of the plan's concession include leveraging the private sector access to finance and reducing reliance on government budgetary allocation to fund the China Exim Bank loan. It added that there was a need to adopt a timely implementation program, hence a fast-track transaction process was recommended. We also have Charles right here with us in the studio, and we are looking at the top 4 stories. We're talking about Nlng before we went on that timeout. Let's continue with that.
Nlng, yes, that's the Nigerian liquefied
natural
gas, yes, which is what we are supposed to be using. And like I've said, if my chemistry will correct me, gas too is also a byproduct of this crude. So we have these resources in abundance. And I must commend the LNG. I've seen several trains they've exported. They are doing quite a lot. But the issue now is in terms of domestic usage. We are seeing how the price of gas is going up on a daily basis. You know, the average Nigerian is tired. You go to, I wouldn't want to mention any name, in most of this gas station, you buy a certain kg today. You go 2-3 days later, they tell you they have increased. In fact, I've driven to a gas station somewhere in Festac, and somebody came there to buy just 1 kg.
Oh no.
Just 1 kg. And I said, okay, that is what I can afford though. And she's even preparing something, the gas has finished. Just 1 kg. I think that was 720 naira. So you can see the extent at which things are so difficult. NNPC, the government will come and say, okay, gas intervention, we will do this. They're even telling you of the gas decade plan for gas.
The decade of gas plan.
Yes. What is the impact? What have we seen?
Well, it started in March 2021, so maybe we should give them some time, or what do you think?
Okay, I think that's another area in which at least the government can try to alleviate the sufferings of the masses, ensure that gas price is brought down in terms of availability and the supply, so that the average Nigerian can be able to afford gas. You know, we're talking of sustainability, the environment.
The question even is, why are we having these gas issues to start with? Why does skyrocketing prices and all of that?
Because the supply is not meeting the demand. It's a simple demand and supply issue. Simple basic economics. If the demand is more, we're encouraging, even my mother in the village, my grandmother in the village, we're encouraging her not to use firewood again. I said, okay, this is a cleaner energy, gas. And more people are taking to that initiative. But you as the government, you are not meeting the supply of that demand. Of course, the price will continue to go up. So the government has to come up with a strategy to ensure that this gas is available. Because if you have gas available all over the place, then of course, with a level of safety, then of course, the average Nigerian can afford it.
All right, let's talk about the QR code. The CBN policy.
Well, the Nigerian financial system, with all the fintech, everything going on, I give kudos to the young people who are very innovative and creative in that space. I know I'm also learning from them. They've made payment systems so easy, you know, even the average villager can use his or her phone to do transfers, payments, and all that. Yes. But the issue now is, yes, you've told us the technology is encrypted, there is safety.
It's safe.
They should continue to encourage that and improve on what we have. Make it simple. That is key. The consumer, the users of those payment systems are not interested in all the technology. What they are interested is the usability, user-friendly, so that, and security. There's no issue of saying, because I use this technology, this platform, before I knew what, my account has been wiped out. We want to be sure that. So whatever innovation they are bringing in, whatever payment system, is to ensure that it is encrypted, it is safe, and user-friendly.
Okay, that means that you totally agree with that one.
Of course, I totally agree with that one.
It's a welcome
development.
I remember. Okay, that's a good one. At least this is something you agree with. You're also good with the increase in supply that the federal government, Nlng, is also working on.
Of course, I agree with that.
So the only thing you're not happy about is the money paid on subsidy.
Yes, because if you say you keep paying and we are not getting, so what is that? Oh yeah, don't pay now, and let's see whether the product will come.
Don't pay. What about the people that will suffer?
Well, fix our refineries.
Okay, that's one. So let's talk about the hydroelectric project. That's the concession of Zungeru power plant. What's your reaction to that?
Zungeru is somewhere in Niger State, happy? And they say that plant has the capacity of over 700 megawatts.
Yes.
The Council for Privatization has approved that they should concession it to private people or something like that. Yes, a welcome development, but again, I believe in implementation. They have done this. There are several things they have concessioned before. We are not even seeing the impact. Instead, the consumers of those products or those services are worse off than even when it was in the hands of government. So we are saying, before you do that concession, ensure that the technical partners that are taking over, through a detailed study about them, whether they have that capacity.
But what would, beg your pardon, one would expect that that's basic that's basic in business.
Exactly, that's basic in business. But we have seen that, okay, it is left to you, that is doing the concessioning, to ensure that the consignor or the consignee now, as the case may be, has that technical know-how to run what you are giving to that firm to do on your behalf. Because the essence of you doing that is to ensure that he does it better than government.
I think that's a good place to end the conversation. Thank you so much, Charles Fakroha, for your thoughts on the show.
Thank you, Perpetua, for having me.
All right, we'll take a break now, and when we return, experts have called for sustainability financing to combat the looming impacts of climate change on Nigeria. That's our next talking point after this timeout. Stay with us.